I grew up having pretty much everything that I needed in my life, and yet still feeling like I didn't quite fit. Not really understanding why I was having the emotional experiences that I had, and didn't have the language or the ability to express if I was struggling or what I was walking through. And so I was one of those people that on the outside looked like everything was perfect. Straight A student, athlete, all of the things. And yet inside I felt unseen, misunderstood, just not ever quite fitting. There was always this disconnect of who I was externally versus who I was and my internal lived experience. I went through life believing that I wanted to be a teacher. I love working with kids, I love working with teens, and I thought that the path that I wanted to do that in would be teaching. And so I got my education, I started teaching, and I realized that I truly wanted more of a one-on-one individual opportunity to work with people. Now, plot twist, got a job working in a completely different industry. So I started doing a lot of events for politics and large tech companies in New York. And so that really shifted and altered the entire path that I was on, not just my career path, but kind of my identity also followed suit in walking down that path and not in alignment with who I was at my core. After doing events and being an event coordinator in New York for many years, I started working as what's called a major gift fundraiser. So I was doing fundraising in New York and just naming that to highlight that here I am being successful and have all the things that I feel like I should have as a successful young adult, and feeling really unhappy internally and feeling like not recognizing at the time, but it was because of that misalignment and not truly being authentically in my identity and having no sense of purpose in my life. And so that brought me to a deep and dark place where for me hopelessness showed up, and what I truly needed at that time in my late 20s was treatment. So I myself attended a residential treatment center similar to what we have here at Mission Prep, and it saved my life. It changed my life, and it gave me the opportunity to pause and to dive into who I truly am at my core. I'd never asked that question. I never even considered looking at what my core values are, what I want out of life, really, and what my purpose was. And it gave me that opportunity. I had my own therapists, I had my own clinical, I had the opportunity to do that deep and meaningful therapeutic work that I probably, had it not been forced on me, I would have been resistant to. And thank goodness that people in my life recognized that I needed that and were bold enough and brave enough to say that to me, because I wasn't able to really say that to myself, even though I probably knew I needed that. So attended treatment and got on my own path of well-being, and what that individually looked like for me. And what that did was it sparked my desire and my interest to do something bigger. That's how I started working in a residential program for adolescents over 12 years ago. Absolutely fell in love with it. In a residential space, from direct care staff to clinical, and that eventually led me to being able to create something that I believe is really magical. And in that journey, I went back to school. I became a marriage and family therapist. I pride myself on doing things and being a little bit different. I'm creative, I'm unique, I'm bold, also because I care more about your well-being and you getting on your path of whatever that looks like for you than what you think of me.